Toms. SDPP. The Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
You know,
What?
it's a good thing that the Leafs dressed their tough guy.
Yeah.
Because, after that first period where he played 2 more shifts, made a big difference.
It
Made
sure
a
did.
big old difference.
Remember that time where he laid a hit that was just dumb enough to be a penalty, but just soft enough to not actually do anything?
Yeah.
That was great.
That was the first shift, wasn't it? His first shift.
I don't know if it was his first shift. It should have been his last.
Was that it? It's just 2 shifts after.
1 shift in the second, 1 shift in the third, evidently.
Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is that here's the problem. The battle was lost before the game. Reeves, listen, I like Ryan Reeves, the guy.
They played fine.
And but when he said, "Oh yeah, Marchand keeps cheating," chirping me about he makes more, and then Marchand comes back at him and says, "I said that to him once. I guess he's really hanging on to it." Like, what are you going to say? That's a good comeback.
It's a good retort.
It is. And I was like, oh man. Now I can always get up for a Leafs Bruins game, and there was lots to talk about here. I think when the Leafs played the Bruins the first time, the Timothy Liljegren incident was the thing that we talked about the next day. And frankly, people were like, oh, you guys are crazy. And then Sheldon Keefe and Brad Treliving went into the dressing room the following day and said, you guys are playing soft. Enough of this. We're not going to accept it anymore.
Yep.
And I think it was a total change in team philosophy, because previous to that, for the last 7 years, or basically the entirety of the core 4 as we've known them, it was the Kyle Dubas era, turn the other cheek, we'll get him back on the power play. And then after 7 years of it, the Leafs realized that they were never going to get the calls.
Except Sheldon Keefe gaslit us before the game, basically going like, oh, I don't know when. I can't remember the exact quote, but like, since when do you have to respond for every hit? And no, you don't have to. Just the good teams do.
Yeah.
Adam, I was checking what you referenced off of.
Am I wrong?
Off of the top of the pod about Ryan Reeves having 1 shift in the second, 1 in the third, you said?
Yeah, that's what I had read.
He had no shifts in the third period.
Oh.
Yeah.
How many did he have in the second? I was like, I was prepared for you to tell me he had like 15, and I was like, what the fuck?
It's even less than you said. It's even worse.
No. It's 2 shifts after the first.
Okay.
So he had however many he had in the first.
Yeah.
2 in the second, none in the third.
None in the third. Yeah. So it's 2 in the second, none in the third.
But even when he's in the lineup, he's not in the
his
lineup.
final shift came even further back. You know, it wasn't 1 in the third. He had a shift at 58:57 is when he came off the ice. Didn't see the ice again for the rest of the game.
What are we doing?
Come
What
on,
are we doing?
guys.
Like Michael DeStefano was talking about, I mean, it's spilt milk now, but like the Canucks have killed in Sam Lafferty's minutes.
Oh, yeah.
He has 6 goals. I think they're outscoring the competition something like 17-6 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
His goal on Saturday was really nice, too.
And Reeves has 1 goal, and they're getting outscored 12-2. And I'd be able to stomach it if he did anything. What are we doing?
Well, and that was what I wondered was, like, and again, this is not an attack on Ryan Reeves. I wanted to like the player. Well, I like the player. I like the person.
It's an attack.
It's not an attack. It's
do better. You make a lot of money. Do better.
Legitimate criticism here. I wondered why the Leafs didn't dress their best lineup.
I think what they're coming to terms
it's
with
Boston.
is their best lineup doesn't feature him. I don't know.
I'm just surprised it took him this long. Like the Atlantic again is shaping up to be an incredible division.
It's a dogfight.
You look at Tampa, you look at Boston, you look at Detroit. The Sabres have shocked everybody and can't score, and now I think Alex Tuck is out. We don't know how long. So it's going to get, and Devin Levi's down, and Tage Thompson's gone, and all that. But I can understand the Leafs being in a wild card spot, which they are as of this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they've played less games than everybody who's ahead of them. So
that's going to stay the case. They don't play till Thursday.
I know, it's weird.
I know.
But I feel like there is a point at which it's like, guys, you knew what your best lineup was. Not that Bobby McMahon was going to make all the difference against the Boston Bruins. Obviously, Reeves, because he didn't play, wasn't a factor.
No,
But he did take a penalty, and then the Leafs have got to run their guys out more and more and more, and another game in overtime.
So this isn't why the Leafs lost, but I honestly think the Leafs were the better team, and that's why we're putting some emphasis here, because you could have been even better than that, and maybe that's what gets you across the line.
It's the NHL. It's 1 or 2% difference.
It's so little. Instead, what we got was one of the goofiest overtimes I've ever seen.
It was so entertaining.
Like, did Joseph Woll break a record? The Bruins
10 saves.
10 saves on 11 shots. The period in which the Bruins had the most shots on Saturday was overtime, which was less than 5 minutes. Explain that. It's 3-on-3, I know. But also the Leafs are really, really bad at it. And I said that, and people got in my face digitally. They got very upset.
No, they're not. They're not great at it.
No, they're not. They've been winning games. That doesn't mean win does not equal great.
Dominate play.
Unless it's Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. In that case, go for it. Win however you can. But they were getting outshot 29-20 heading into that overtime. And they left it getting outshot 40-25 on the season in 3-on-3 overtime. They're not good at it. William Nylander tried to put a figure 4 on a player. I would have been okay with him getting fined. You can't, dude, you're wearing skates. Are you out of your mind? Mm-hmm. And Tavares should get fined for lack of effort.
Well, so
maximum under the CBA.
Yeah, did we get to start at the end today?
Yeah, do you want to start at the end?
That'd be fun.
Because Willie blowing a tire in overtime. There are other things I want to talk about, but the story is, unfortunately, Willie blew a tire in overtime. And I think that it's so nice to see a lack of criticism thrown William Nylander's way, because he's been the player of the season for the Leafs. And he's allowed to fuck up. Everybody does. Mm-hmm. And that was, he didn't see the player coming. He couldn't turn in time. He fucked it up.
It's not even about the blown tire, though.
It isn't, is it?
It's not at all. It's about you blow the tire, Willie, in the center ice. It's like, okay, happens. You blow a tire. It's about William Nylander and John Tavares not hustling back to the play. And the guy he tangled up with, William Nylander, scored the goal. So Brad Marchand was also on the ground with you. How did he have the ability to get up, get back to the puck, and score, and yet you couldn't do that?
I saw some people say Tavares would have never made it back in time. Dude, the Bruins scored on their third attempt on that play. Yes, you would have.
Also, don't care. Try.
Yeah.
Try to make it back.
Yeah.
Even if you couldn't do it, make the effort. That's all. That 90% of the time, things aren't even about getting it done. It's about making an effort to do it.
Yes. This isn't a friend test, but have you seen the LFR yet?
I was walking to work and you honked me while I was listening to you. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I was going to compliment you because I thought you did a great job breaking down that first goal. Where you were talking about how who's in front of that? Was it Riley who didn't have a man? Riley was coming at the blue line.
I think that was the second goal.
That was second goal? Yeah, Riley was coming in the blue line, and he was like, we were like, why is Riley at the fucking blue line? And he's like, well, he's following his man.
Yeah,
and it's the forward. The forward's job is to get. I was like, yeah, wonderful analysis, Steve. So yes,
I thought so.
Long way to answer your question, but yes, I watched the LFR all the time.
So the reason I asked that is as effortless as William Nylander was and as effortless as John Tavares was, I thought it was Jake McCabe's shitty change that sort of started all the problems. Because Nylander has the puck, he's looking for a distributor, and it was going to be Riley coming on for McCabe.
Yes.
Except McCabe was taking a sweet friggin' time on his last shift of the game.
Yeah.
Unless the Leafs take a penalty and head to the penalty kill, that is his last shift of the game, guaranteed. That, or if the shootout goes 15 rounds.
Serious question, though. Why was he changing with 12 seconds left?
No, it wasn't 12. It was like 40-something.
Jake McCabe?
Yeah.
From Nylander?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How many seconds left was the goal from Brad Marchand?
I can give me...
Yeah.
Can we find that out?
I don't have a problem with him going for a change. I have a problem with him doing
4:52 is when it was scored.
Wow.
There's 8 seconds left. Guys, why was he changing?
8 seconds when he scored.
But how much is the time between Nylander blowing a tire and the goal? 5 seconds? 6 seconds?
I don't know why I thought there was 40.
Jesse, can we look at the shift chart?
For
Jake McCabe.
Oh, I mean, he was tired. But
I don't know if...
you can't,
he pulled a Brad Marchand.
To make
That's what Marchand did in Game 7, 2019. is, I'm tired, even though there's only a few seconds left, and friggin' goes for the worst line change in human history.
He made his change at 4:41. So
there's 19 seconds to go.
That's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it if you do it properly.
Because like
Then you better hustle.
so
Yes,
Willie's there. He's going up the ice, right? So I assume Jake McCabe anticipated. Riley hops on for the last 20 seconds.
Yes.
You try and do a thing in the offensive zone, and I shouldn't be out there for that. But you got to hustle.
Yeah. And
You got to hustle.
I think the reason the Bruins were able to zero in on Tavares and attack Nylander so hard is Riley wasn't eligible to receive the puck, and neither was McCabe, because they're the worst line-changing team in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
And that was the difference.
It's great because this one play is like tenfold all the problems about the Leafs. You know, it's not the one thing about blowing a tire. There's 80 different things that happen on this play that leads to Brad Marchand doing what is the gladiator? Are you not entertained? Celebration to end the game? Like, God damn, like that's fucking
And he
brutal.
deserved it, by the way. He deserved
100%.
And that's 2 times this year Brad Marchand has fucking punked the Leafs, and they let him. And what I want to understand is, I saw some people say, well, maybe Tavares thought Wool gets the save, it's going to a shootout or something like that.
No.
I want to understand, and or Keefe ran his guys out there too much. I don't know what Tavares' ice time was, but they were tired or whatever. I want to understand how either of those guys are not hustling back. I want to understand it. I don't care if your legs are burning. There's 20 seconds left.
I'm not sure.
Just go.
Did here, you have the chart up. Did any of Nyes, Bertuzzi, Robertson, or Domi touch the ice in overtime?
Robertson, no. Reeves, no. Timmins, no.
Reeves?
Benoit, no. Yarncroke, no. Kampf, no.
Yarncroke didn't touch the ice in overtime?
No. Nyes, no. Those are all the no's.
Nyes didn't play
Legacy,
in
no.
overtime.
There you go. So no. Those are all the no's.
Okay, there's a lot of fire Keefe people out there, and it's not going to happen, but can we fire him after regulation? Dude, horrible. That's so bad. And there wasn't a penalty or anything. You stink. That's so bad, man.
It is. And I think, like, first off, I want to say that Matthew Nyes has been sneaky good, despite being on a line with 2 stars that haven't figured it quite out yet. Although Marner had a great Thursday, Matthews had a great Saturday.
We should be talking about how great that damn line was.
They were and
Willie screwed it up.
But
Great game.
we will. But I want to talk about Nyes for a second.
Yeah.
How does that player not touch the ice in overtime?
I don't know, man.
How does a player and I know Nick Robertson's not the fastest guy, neither is John Tavares.
Robertson's gotten fast.
He's quick.
I think-
he's quick. His top speed, there's a difference. It's in hockey, it's not about your top speed. It's about how fast can you get to your top speed. Right? If you can go 100 miles an hour, that's great. But if it takes you 5 strides to get there, it's useless. If it takes you 3 strides to go 80 miles an hour, you're going a lot faster.
I wonder what his NHL edge says about him.
All that said, you've got a great shot from him. He's got great puck handling skills, and he's quick. Matthew Nyes, physical, big, and frankly, skates really, really well for his size, even at his age. Like, he hasn't gone through the Barb Underhill training school of holy shit. But or maybe he has, but you could see it's still developing.
Not
and
as thoroughly
it's
as
really good.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is, like, why, with a lot of coaches, like, well, you got to earn that trust. You got to earn that trust. If you don't play them, they can't earn it. And how long was William Nylander's shift leading up to that blown tire? Hadn't he been on the ice for a minute 30?
He'd been on the ice for a lot.
Yeah, so he started overtime and
holy, look at that shift.
Yeah, he went to like 2:10 and then he had a quick little shift again in the middle and then he had another shift at the end.
Yeah, and why were they out? Why was he out so long?
He was out for a long time.
Because they can't change.
They also can't get possession sometimes.
Did you say Bertuzzi didn't touch the ice?
Bertuzzi was on for literally 7 seconds and then went back to the bench.
Yeah, okay. Fire Sheldon Keefe after regulation.
Bertuzzi
Just
was on
after regulation, fired.
for 7 seconds. Yeah.
That's so bad, man. Yeah. That's so bad.
So what do you do differently?
Play other players so that you're not having a conversation like, well, maybe they were tired. They're pro athletes. What? What are we doing? What are we doing? And you tell them, like, so the Leafs, the bench would have been on the left side of the ice for them. All right, you're not allowed to go to the right side of the ice. Your your permission has been revoked.
What do you mean?
No, you have to skate close to the bench so that you can actually pull off a change. You bums.
Some of the
You actual bums.
Some of the long shifts in overtime are dependent on the other team ragging the puck and
Yes.
going back and circling
Yes.
back to center ice. Like some of these longer shifts aren't entirely on coaching. Like it's not just you call a guy to the bench. It's the other team is just hanging out with the puck and they're hanging out there.
It forces the Leafs to play lazily. Like that's why they start the overtime with the big shift or the long shift, because they know the other team is just ragging the puck. So they just glide around for 90 seconds and they're able to keep going because they're not actually doing anything. They're probably going slower than the average public skate at Nathan Phillips Square. Like I'm being dead serious because they're like, all right, we're going to do this song and dance. Have Dave. So you start with David Kampf out there, and I hate that Adam has won this war, but you start with David Kampf out there.
Not on Saturday.
Yeah,
No, on Saturday they started with Camp.
Let
Is it not registering the shit? I know they started with him.
me see.
they've gone back to it. I'm pretty sure they did Saturday.
No, I clicked overtime here and I got Matthews, Willie, McCabe.
To start overtime? Oh, you know what? I think Jesse's right.
Was it Thursday?
You know why? Because they've played so many damn overtime.
Was it Thursday that they
It was
started camp?
one of the maybe the
previous.
Seattle
Okay,
one
I
or the
could've
Florida
sworn.
one.
All right.
I don't know which one.
Fair enough.
Well, anyway, when you do start camp and he loses the faceoff, now the entirety of your first shift is about getting him off the ice. Then when he's not on the ice and you lose the faceoff, it's just agony. It's agony to watch when your team is bad at it, is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've been talking about regulation wins and, an emphasis on the playoffs, right? I guess if we are putting an emphasis on the playoffs, we shouldn't be too fussed that they're ass at overtime.
Well, because I have to disagree with something Jennifer Botterill said on Hockey Night in Canada. She's like, well, they can't, there's no shootout in the playoffs. And as I said last week, there's no 3-on-3 in the playoffs either.
Right.
They're apples to oranges comparison here. I will listen to the argument that these guys are playing more hockey than they need to, and maybe they'll be tired.
Yeah.
I will listen to that.
Oh, I want there to be 10-minute of 3-on-3 overtime. I know why they don't have it.
100%. Yeah.
I know why they don't have it.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'll listen to the fact that the Leafs have played too many overtime games just for the fact that they'll be tired. I won't listen to the fact that, they won it in overtime, so therefore it's different. I don't care. I want wins in the regular season. What I have an issue with is these guys having to turn on the fucking Jets every third period to try to catch up and tie the game, and then they're playing extra minutes. Then now we can chat.
Yeah.
I'm
you
more-
guys did not misremember. Kampf, McCabe, and Marner started OT. They registered on the auto shift chart thing as in the third period because they were also on at the end of the game. So it looks
That's
like
great. I'm glad
it
they
didn't
put
start
them on
at
at the end of the game.
Oh,
That's what you need.
So yeah, but so when you hit overtime, it cuts them off. But when you go back to the third, you can see that their shifts
Bit of a
started
glitch.
there. But yeah, that's
okay.
okay. So yeah, we figured it out. You guys are correct. Camp
thought I
did
was losing
start
my mind.
overtime.
And you know what?
Yes.
I'm glad that he was on the ice for the end of the game, because if you ever need a goal to break a tie, Dave Kamp's your guy.
I don't know why it's glitching like that. But that's okay.
And it's not.
Wait,
it's
I'm
not-
pretty
the
sure
NHL
he wasn't. That's,
NHL does.
I think they're just wrong.
Are they afraid of? By the way, quick question: are they afraid of David Kampf not being able to make a change, so they leave him out there in the third period, so that when it crosses over in overtime, he's already on the ice, and they
Nope.
don't get it too many men? Or
I think the website's just wrong.
Yeah, because he didn't end the game either. Like you have the Tavares.
Oh,
shift
maybe
there, and it's
he was out there
overlapping.
for the final. It was like the final 4 seconds after the goal.
Possibly, yeah.
That would make some.
Yeah, because right now we have it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have like 7, 8 players registering at the final end of
Yeah.
the last 4 seconds that you're talking about. So that's why there's a little bit of confusion with the
I think
shift
we're getting
chart.
too caught up.
Yeah, and I feel like it's completely irrelevant.
Absolutely not.
But
no,
I like
no
the stuff.
chance.
I like
are we
the
getting
stuff.
too caught up in shift chart?
But yeah, Camp did start overtime.
There you go.
So I think there is positives to talk about, but I still want to bring it back one more time to Tavares and Nylander not skating back. What possible reason, guys? And what do you say to John Tavares, who objectively has been one of the most consistent centers they've ever had in franchise history and defensively responsible? This is completely out of character for him.
Yeah, I'd like to see Sheldon Keefe call them out, or at very least do it behind closed doors, because it's all about setting a standard, right? And we're still at this time in the season when it's early enough that you can demand better of your team. John Cooper did it, and they got murdered. But, John Cooper called out his team. Good coaches do it. You're allowed at this time of year. There's lots of guys who are in your lineup right now who probably won't be playoff regulars.
Yeah.
If you have your way, but they're in your organization, and a lot of them are young, and you want to show them what the standard is. Matthew Nyes is pretty new at this. You want to tell him what the standard is. Nick Robertson is pretty new at this. You want to tell him what the standard is. Even Benoit is under 25, and X, Y, and Z, you keep it going.
Interesting on Simon Benoit. The Leafs have won Simon Benoit's 5-on-5 minutes by expected goals for in all 9 games that he's played. He's now at a 63.3 expected goals for this season, according to Kevin Papetti.
The young guy who was on the Ducks all of last season, who's under 25 and provides exactly what the Leafs lack, is better on the Leafs than the Ducks. And I, for one, am shocked.
And he's 25. That's good. Good little value pickup.
Listen, I was right about the wrong defenseman. Remember when it came to Klingberg? I'm like, guys, he was on the Ducks. Like, don't show me the Ducks numbers. The top 2 and the bottom 2 teams maybe shouldn't count.
Yeah, you know what? Take the edge off the. It would probably make the numbers a lot more valuable.
Was this player incredible, or was he just on Vegas? You know what I mean?
Or Boston last year.
Yeah, or Boston. Yeah, or was
Boston
he just on a team that won 65 games? Or likewise, were they, beneath the Earth's crust, or were they just on one of the most depressing teams I've ever seen?
Yeah, I think we should take Linus Ullmark's Vezina trophy back. Because, really.
Me too.
How would you know?
I saw his mask.
Yeah.
I saw what you did.
The other things I want to talk about from the game, obviously, I thought the Leafs played one of their better games. I really didn't hate anything about the way they played. It was really great to see Max Domi get his first goal, and a really nice one too. And that guttural roar when he scored.
He's on pace for 41 assists.
That's crazy.
He had no goals.
At $3 million, that's crazy.
I know.
Austin Matthews tying the game with 5 seconds left. I definitely woke my daughter up on that one. Like, we were screaming in the living room and that sort of thing.
What a goal.
But what was not made a lot of is Keefe's comments before the games.
I was dog sitting, and there was a dog not used to my bullshit. Iggy's fully used to it. This dog was fucking terrible. I felt really bad.
Keefe said before the game, like that morning, that he wanted Matthews to stop overpassing the puck, and he wanted him to start being more assertive. After the game, Keefe said, I thought he was a beast out there tonight. What did you guys think?
I think he was absolutely right. It's not just him getting lucky, getting outshot, but he has an elite one, so he doesn't need as many opportunities as his opponents. When he shoots it, you know what happens? Sometimes the goalie stops it. And that's a shame, right? Because whenever the goalie stops it, the play is dead.
Yeah.
Run!
Yeah.
There's rebounds! And Matthew Nyes is a dog! And Nylander is a dog! And Nylander would have had Matthews' first goal had it not been blocked by Charlie McAvoy, who was reprising his role as goalie in that situation. Like, just so many good things come from. This is going to be crazy analysis. This is going to make you hit the subscribe button. Give your best players the puck. Just, if you're one of the best shooters in the world, I think you should shoot it. Click like and subscribe.
There you go.
For more incredible analysis.
Love it. Wow. Amazing. Jesse?
It's good stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I applaud you for your astute analysis of hockey.
It was one of those games where the puck kind of followed him around. I thought their dump-ins were very they were successful. You know what I mean? Well executed. There's the term I was looking for. Like there was one, I think it was in the second period, where I was like, what are you doing? And then it was havoc behind the net for a solid 10 seconds before one or two quality scoring chances. I'm like, oh, that's what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is the style of hockey Sheldon Keefe wants. He screamed his lungs out at Tyler Bertuzzi the other night. Do you remember why?
Because he didn't get the puck in deep.
Didn't get the puck in deep.
Yep.
Get the puck in deep and be assholes.
Yeah.
Play tiring hockey. Like there were so many games over the last few years where the Leafs, like, by shots and shot attempts and everything, murdered their opponents, killed them. And their opponent came out of the game looking fresh as a daisy. And you're like, how did this happen? I don't understand. Because they didn't play tiring hockey. And when it comes to the playoffs, you kind of need to do that.
You need to grind them down.
There was a story, I want to say, knock down the snowman for the first time. There was a story at a Puck Talks way back in the day. I think it was Elliot Friedman was recalling Adam Oates in his brief time on the Hockey Night panel. Remember the series between the Rangers and Penguins? I think the Penguins were up 3-1 and they blew it. Mm-hmm. Oates, I'm pretty sure when the series was 3-1, behind the scenes, as Fried retold the story, said, "No, the Rangers are going to win this series. You watch." Because they keep putting it behind the net and they're just mashing the shit out of the Penguins defenders and they're going to get exhausted. And they're not going to be able to keep this up. Even if they win this round, and now I'm putting words in his mouth, but even if they win this round, they're not going to be able to make it out of the next one. They're not going to be able to go all the way. You have to play exhausting hockey. Vegas Golden Knights. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's anything particularly remarkable about them other than they just execute well and beat the shit out of you. Isn't that the name of the game? St. Louis Blues, 2019. Was that a remarkable team? Or were they just sort of big and beat the shit out of you? They're just big and beat the shit out of you.
There was talent.
There was talent.
And they had a goalie on a heater.
It's the NHL.
Yeah.
You know, you're allowed to make stops and you're allowed to score goals, right? Mm-hmm. The Tampa Bay Lightning, both times. Elite talent, and that is the main attraction there. But they also, that fourth line and that third line for the first two, like what a nightmare situation to deal with. The Colorado Avalanche. Underratedly big guys on the wings. Maybe that was a little bit more skill than grit. Like the Avalanche was maybe a little bit more about them being able to take a punch. And then last year, Vegas wins with an entire roster of guys over 6 feet, except for the playoff MVP, which is hilarious.
The main guy.
Except for Jonathan Marchand. But maybe the reason he's able to succeed the way he did is because he has room
and
out
there's
there.
one of him.
And there's one of him.
Yeah.
You know, that third line out there for the Leafs, I think, is a fun line to watch. They're doing well analytically. They tied the game. That's not going to be it in the playoffs.
You don't think?
Chance. No.
Why not?
Because
you
they're all
said that
shrimps.
last week, and I don't understand.
They're all shrimp.
Yeah, but they're not. They don't play like shrimps.
No, they don't. But eventually, they're going to run into guys who also don't play like shrimps and aren't shrimps. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you're going to run into a line of like Mark Stone, Ivan Barbashev, and I don't know, Chandler Stevenson.
Yeah, I think sometimes we get into our heads that the NHL nowadays is still NHL from like the NHL 14 video games, where the small guys are the skilled guys and then the big guys are the bruisers. But the differentiator with like modern hockey now is you have the big guys who are also skilled and also bruisers. You look at like a guy like Tage Thompson, who's just the complete outlier of how big he is and how skilled he is. But that's kind of the new norm, you know?
Yeah.
He's not really the outlier anymore. It's you can also be big and have skill and play all these different positions. So if you have a line that's undersized and you go up against a line who can match them in skill but is also bigger, you're going to lose a lot of little puck battles, and little puck battles are where games are won.
You can succeed with Yanni Gourdes. You obviously can, but who was on his flanks when Tampa was winning back-to-back cups? Barclay Goodrow and Blake Coleman just coming in there and being big, brash assholes and smashing the shit out of you in the corners. You need these things. Right. And I was very proud of myself for this line that I had in the LFR. The first Bruins game where Liljegren got hurt and Bertuzzi was laughing on the bench, I said, you know what? Get off my hockey team. He did. That Tyler Bertuzzi's gone. He's been replaced with a new Tyler Bertuzzi who does all that shit. Now, sometimes there's a shelf life on that. You know, he misses a lot of hockey. And the problem with the little guys who play this way You know who, like, obviously Robertson has way higher end skill than the player I'm about to talk about, but there was a player who I loved watching so much in the early Matthews years. And I thought, man, this guy's a good player and he's not going to last.
Byron Fraze.
No, he has lasted. He was on the friggin' Golden Knights.
I know.
I can't believe it. He's a great puck doku answer.
Yes.
He's been on so many teams. Anyway, Nikita Soshnikov.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He had a good little run.
That maniac skated brain first into every play. And, like, there was one, I think he gave himself a concussion because he missed a hit. Like, he's just, those players, you need those guys, but they don't always exist for very long.
Right.
In this league. So I think that third line is wonderful, and it's a lot of fun, and it's December. I don't give a shit how much they play right now. We go for it. But when push comes to shove, the later or the longer this battle goes on, because it's 82 games, that's so many games, you're going to get the shit beat out of you.
Can I bring up another former Leaf on the opposite end of that? You're like, Shoshnikov wouldn't last. When we think about this Leaf, we're like, that guy has everything he needs to last a long time and be a great effective player. The 6'3", 230 Pierre Engvall.
Oh, man.
Who had just everything he needs in terms of size, and everything's there.
That's why they gave him so much rope, because surely they watched him win the first taste they got of Pierre Engvall on North American ice. He won a championship.
The Marlies won.
With the Marlies. Yeah. As a center, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
On a line with, oh my God, who was on his line? Colin Greening.
Yes.
And Frederick Gauthier. It was like the biggest line in hockey. It was friggin' ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
he's gonna score more goals than he has abs, and he has a lot of abs.
He has a lot of abs.
So many abs.
And it never panned out. And
Islanders fans, have you ever seen him wear a shirt? Am I still right about that? He never wears a shirt.
And he shouldn't.
yeah.
Why would you rob the world of that?
Never wear a shirt.
Ever again.
I only see through.
Yeah, and
They
I would wear
should-
necklaces too, because you can pull off a necklace when you got a body like that.
Yeah. They should make an
Absolutely.
exception for Pierre Engvall. When he plays hockey, he doesn't have to wear a shirt.
I'd show up to
Just the pads and no jersey.
I'd show up to weddings in a V-neck. That's me being conservative.
Yeah.
Right? But
No, that's you being risky. You're showing a little cleave there.
We went to a baseball game at Yankee Stadium. This guy wore a tank top.
Whoa! Brought the guns.
Brought the guns
Did the metal
out.
detectors go off?
thankfully, no. They just said, "Whoa there, guns. Go in there and get some garlic fries." And then I did.
Do you have any pictures of this?
Yeah, we got lots of pictures
Okay,
from
good,
our
good.
time in New York. Yeah.
Yankee Stadium's fun.
That's what I
better,
learned.
better
a good
in a
time.
tank top, though.
That's when I learned
Oh,
there's
yeah.
an offensive term for an Italian person wearing a tank top.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, New
And
York
Jesse's
would have
like,
to-
"What does that mean?" And I had to explain to Jesse.
Yeah.
It's-
But all the Italians, they were giving you high fives. They're like, yeah,
One
They
of
were.
us, one of us.
They thought I was the mayor. Oh, have we ever talked about how we talked to a guy sitting in front of us?
we did. Well, I think we did when we came back.
So we
from
took a
our-
picture with a guy sitting behind us because he was a podcast listener. He's like, "What the hell are you doing at Yankee Stadium?" Then we also took a picture with the guy in front of us. Did he watch us? Did he know us from the internet?
No,
No, he wanted a picture with us because we were from Canada.
he was just interested in the idea of us being from Canada.
He's just
And he heard us talking all game.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, let's take a picture.
And we're like, "Oh yeah, we got here yesterday." And he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
He couldn't believe it. We got here yesterday.
Two things. Yankee Stadium, chattiest place on earth.
Oh my God.
It's
yeah.
everybody's just having their own conversation. Everybody's having their own little thing going on. Like just everybody's talking, everybody's having a party, and the game's just there in the background.
Yes.
It's incredible experience.
Yeah, people actually get up and dance too when they play the right songs. I found that at the Blue Jays game, everybody just sits there. In New York and Boston, they're like, "Woo, we're fucked." Well, it's because I was in the outfield. But people were just fucking lit up and just shaking it.
Other people just everywhere, I think, have a better time than us. Did you see the Bruins one, the moment of silence?
No.
It was against the Sharks. And they had a moment of silence because it was Hockey Fights Cancer Night. And I feel like most markets, you can't pull this off.
That was
or
real good.
It'll be offensive. But in Boston, it's all right. And we now pause for a moment of silence. Fuck you, cancer! The guy goes, fuck you, cancer!
And then at the end of the moments of silence, the PA announcer goes, thank you. Because, yeah, that's a part of the script, but it sounds like he was thanking the man for saying, fuck you, cancer. It's really funny.
He did, and everyone knew it, too. And they laughed along with it, and you're like, it's Boston.
Other thing, the Leafs, they're down a whole bunch of defensemen. We don't think they're playing at their best. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10.
Yeah,
like we're doing a lot of, to bring back an old phrase, a lot of humming and homing about the Leafs and their play, but they're they're six.
I don't think it is.
2. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
You know what, Jesse? But they're in the first wild card spot. And that's a problem. Remember that Boston and Detroit one has played 23, one has played 24 games, and the Leafs have only played 22. And like Steve said, we don't get another Leafs game until Thursday night.
Can I correct a lazy narrative out there?
You can attempt to. I doubt you'll be able to.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm going to try.
You cannot correct the internet. It will do what it wants.
Yeah, you probably can't, but I'm curious to hear what you would say if you could.
No, okay. So the Leafs have a bunch of injuries on defense, right?
Yeah.
And a big problem with this team is defense, right?
Structurally, yes.
Yeah. Name a Leafs defenseman playing poorly.
I don't think anybody's playing bad.
Any of the new guys? Any of the guys filling in? Timmins?
Like them all. Well, Timmins has been.
Benoit.
You can tell
Timmins
Timmins is catching up.
Yeah.
He's catching up, but
numbers are good though.
The offensive part of his game hasn't gone anywhere.
Yep.
Right. But
Lagesson,
I think 2 games ago, I think you guys were saying like where's Timmins? He's been bad.
Yes. No, I agree.
Yeah.
But he's getting better.
Yes.
Lagesson gets back in the lineup and what a prick. That guy plays.
Lagesson's great.
And Benoit, by the numbers, is killing it. And Jake McCabe, unless it's overtime, is playing well. Brody has his moments, but Riley's friggin' elite.
I think Adam said structurally, they're not playing the best, which I would agree with. I don't think individual efforts are lacking in the most respects, like in during the game, but structurally as a team, I think there's a lot of improvement that Sheldon Keefe should make over the next while as we get into the playoffs.
The Bruins got 2 goals. One was from an elite pass from David Pasternak to a player with no goals. Fuck my life. And another was just a really hard-working play in front by the Bruins. Both of them where Toronto forwards weren't filling in for a defenseman properly. So I don't know. You can add to the decor. You can do whatever. I think it's just deck chairs on the Titanic. You got to teach these guys how to fucking play.
I think you're right to a point, but I do think some talent and stability back there would help. And it actually brings us to what Elliot Friedman was talking about on Headlines. It's just him now. Ron and Jeff are gone. It's just Elliot. Sorry, Elliot, you go and do it. And basically, he said that the Leafs are still focused on Tanev and guys like him. Now, the reports this morning, I love this because Calgary Flames fans did not react well to the return for Nikita Zadorov, and I think they were right to feel that way. So what the Flames are now putting out there, and I'm guessing at this, but the report this morning is they might try to take a run at signing Tanev long term.
Report from who?
I saw that.
I don't even remember. It was something
report from who?
I don't think it was Eric Francis.
I didn't say Erik Francis.
If that's what
don't you dare put words in my mouth.
Eric's the one who's connected into the leadership there. I mean, if you're going to read it, listen, understand where the sources are. His sources are Flames direct ownership and leadership. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I don't believe he
is
put
that known
out
about
there.
him?
Yeah, no, I heard it on 32 Thoughts as well. They're saying the Tanev trade might take a little longer because it's higher salary, but they're also trying to work out, see if they can revisit the extension.
Huff farts, Craig. You're a liar.
Yeah,
you're a liar.
You're lying. I don't believe that at all. But I do think a guy like that would help them back there, just in the sense that there would be a little bit of, sometimes it's not just about what the talent they bring; it's the effort that they bring, and they teach other guys things.
Yeah,
right.
Like Tanev's 34, and Brad Treliving specializes in getting players in their mid-30s and signing them into their late 30s.
Yes.
He's on this like a bloodhound. It's how dare you try to gaslight me?
Given that, if I don't know if you can use Nikita Zadorov's trade as a benchmark, but it does kind of feel like, listen, I like Tanev a lot, but he's on an expiring deal. He's 34 and has a lengthy injury history.
He's probably better. Well,
Way
he's better, but he's also more expensive, right? And
the cap's flat, and that almost works against you.
we keep the cap. By the way, do you want my prediction for next year? $2 million. It goes up by $2 million. All this $4 million shit. Fuck off.
Why, the economy?
Yeah, the economy's fucked.
Yeah, the economy is.
And they've never actually committed to, oh yeah, it's going up 4. Fuck you. No, it's not. You trust this league? You trust the commissioner? You trust the economy right now?
If this were 4 or 5 months ago, I'd be inclined to say you're wrong, but I actually believe you. I think
take your expectations, cut them in half.
and then they're going to look at all the regional sports collapse with Bally and that sort of thing, and they're going to be like, we lost money there, so no.
It might go up less than 2.
Yeah. But the next
gonna
franchise,
go up based on what?
The next couple of franchises will net $1 billion.
Okay, well,
But the
when they
players
get
will see
here,
$0.
when they get here, we can have a talk about the cap going up. Ain't going up yet.
Jesse, can we get to the BetMGM big story? So, I want you to imagine a different reality.
Oh, the Leafs are cup champs.
The Leafs have Kyle Dubas as general manager in this reality, and Erik Karlsson is a Toronto Maple Leaf.
What?
How do you feel about that reality?
I'm trying to figure out how I afford that reality.
Well,
I can't even fantasize.
apparently the only reason it didn't become real reality, according to Darren Dreger this morning, is that they could not figure out how to make it work financially. Kyle Dubas has been an Erik Karlsson fan forever and tried, apparently, and this is the first I've heard of this, multiple times as GM of the Leafs to get Erik Karlsson to Toronto.
You know
and
what?
It came close.
That's actually why I don't have a Lambo.
Sorry, it's not that close, but yeah.
I don't have a Lambo because I wasn't able to make it work financially.
Well, I get that, but they did try, and it's interesting because, like, obviously, you know, they probably needed the Sharks to retain forever, and the Sharks were like, nah, no thanks, that's okay, bro. But I mean, Dubas has his guy in Pittsburgh. If it works out, it's going to be great. If it doesn't, boy, they're paying the piper for a long, long time. But that was evidently, according to Darren Dreger, one of the first things he went to ownership about. He said, we need to get Erik Karlsson on this team.
We
and
need
that
to
and
get
he
the
convinced
best
them to do it.
defenseman in the league.
So I want to ask you guys, in a hypothetical scenario for the BetMGM big story, Erik Karlsson becomes a Toronto Maple Leaf. Are the Leafs any better than what they were these past few years?
When?
Probably within the last couple of years. So let's start 2 years ago.
No, give me when Erik Karlsson joins the Leafs.
He joins the Leafs going into what was the first Tampa series, like the trade deadline into the first Tampa series.
Brad Treliving, well, it's Kyle Dubas is still the GM in this.
Yes,
season,
yeah,
right?
because this is 2 years ago.
So you wouldn't put him with Riley. I think you separate them and you just put Karlsson with a bridge troll. Like an actual club-wielding bridge troll. You give him a club instead of a stick if you can.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
Then they'd be better.
Do you think they would have made it through Tampa?
Ooh.
Tampa, who lost in the Stanley Cup Finals, guys.
Karlsson was such an elite playoff performer, but it's been 4 years.
Jesse Blake, what do you think?
There's absolutely no way they win either of those series.
Wow.
Really?
The Tampa Bay Lightning were the Tampa Bay Lightning.
He's so weak in front of his own net.
And the Leafs
He's great
would've had-
at everything else.
That was pre-Norris Trophy season, by the way, but the Leafs would have had zero depth. Zero.
Oh, none. No, it would have been like Karlsson, Riley, and like Buzz Flibbit, Mark Donk,
Yeah.
Christmas tree. I don't even know who would have been on the roster.
By the way, the Pittsburgh Penguins currently sit a few points out of the playoffs. If you were a betting man, would you bet on them to make the playoffs?
Yes, because it's more fun. I think Tristan Jarry ended the Lightning.
Jesse Blake.
Pittsburgh making the playoffs?
Yes. Currently, they're at 24 points. To get into the playoffs, if they started today, it would be the New York Islanders, at 26 points. Do you think the Penguins can close the 2-point gap?
The East is so deep this
It
year.
is.
Like, it's hard for me. Washington has been so unexpectedly good the last month.
Really
You know,
competitive.
it's hard for me to count out some of the teams above them. I think I would bet on the Penguins not making the playoffs.
Wow.
Because the Islanders, They're tough. Their goal differential is brutal. I don't know if you have it. I remember I think it's -9 the last time I checked.
Yes, it is -9.
But they're winning games despite that an inability to score goals, which is how you win games. So, and they're getting outscored like crazy. But I think they can sneak in, and I think Washington can hold this up. So it's going to be real tough. And Detroit's good. Pittsburgh, I think, might be on the outside looking in.
You know who's tied with the Islanders, but they've just played one more game, and that's why they're on the outside looking in? The Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah.
No way.
BetMGM.com/dangle. That's the BetMGM big story. Karlsson could have been a Leaf. Imagine. Now, I do want to quickly touch on this, and we did quickly touch on this in the beginning, the Sabres. And we were just talking about it in the BetMGM big story a little bit. They've lost back-to-back. They lost to Carolina, and they lost to Nashville this weekend. Thompson's out. Levi's down. Tuck is injured as of last night. And they play a little bit like the Leafs do, where they come out flat, crush a comeback, and then kind of leave it to the coin flip at the end of the game.
Yep.
Dylan Cousins said that they play way too soft. He said that to Mike Harrington after the Carolina loss, which was 6-2.
He's an animal.
He is an animal.
Yeah.
So it would be hard to reach Dylan Cousins' level.
Maybe too much of one. Listen, I don't watch the Sabres as close as I watch the Leafs, but I get a little Bunting vibes there. Not that he's a loose cannon and not saying they have the same ceiling or whatever. He reminds me of Bunting in that he's alone. He's alone out there on a lot of shifts when it comes to the rough stuff. What the hell is he doing fighting Garnet Hathaway?
I know.
And getting his ass kicked, by the way. And then getting into more fights. Dude, get him some support.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the reason I brought this up, guys, is because especially former Sabres GM Jesse Blake.
Yes.
This is really important for you. I'm sure you'll have some insight on this.
Yep.
What do you do if you're the Sabres? Thompson's out long term. Devin Levi, we all thought, even in the previews, we're like, man, this guy seems like he's the guy. Like, he's going to be great. Not played great.
I think he still will be. But
Tuck's a bit injured. Playing soft. Are the Sabres a team that you hold tight with? Or do you make a trade to shake things up? And not just trade for trade's sake. Obviously, it's got to add value. Probably a little bite up front. But do the Buffalo Sabres make a December trade?
I just think you're done buying and selling. It's got to be a hockey move. And those are difficult to do. But like your team, the expectations are much higher and you're starting to feel it. Sens fans were so high, and then they went on their first losing streak, and they were like, this is an abomination! It's taken a longer time with Sabres fans, but they're coming to grips with... what does CJ always say? You got to sell wins or sell hope. Mm-hmm. Well, they weren't winning, but there's still hope. And they have the most hope invested in, I would say, Devin Levi. Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin are a bit more known quantities, right? Now Levi's in the minors, and you're also not winning. So what are you selling when it comes to a Buffalo Sabres game? Their fans are getting pissed.
Jack Quinn, Zemgus Girgensons, and Tage Thompson all on LTIR, or sorry, just IR. I don't know if it's LTIR, but
Thompson, I think, is LTIR.
likely.
You could also go retro.
The one thing I would say with the Sabres,
They're
guys,
both on IR.
They are?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one thing I'd say with the Sabres is they are one of the lowest payrolls in the NHL. Their cap hit is $76 million, which means their current cap space, their accruing cap space, by the way, by the trade deadline, they'd be able to take on $32 million.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Why? Like, couldn't they have made a move like the Anthony Beauvillier trade?
Easily. Do you want Anthony Beauvillier, though?
I don't know.
I think
it's something. It adds some depth.
No, the
and it's a
Blackhawks
fit.
needed that. They needed a warm body.
Yes, they did. Desperately, and I'm glad they did it. But there's got to be someone else out there who's a fine player just overpaid that a team is dying to get rid of.
I think there's a few.
That player's got to be out there, right?
Well, I wanted to go around the league and talk about what, because there are players that teams that are good that teams want to get rid of. And the Sabres could really take advantage of that. If they take bad money, they could also take good money. Even if it's LTIR bad money, like whatever it is, they could also take good money and pay next to nothing. And they could really parlay this into something, which is why I figured, you know what? I was not convinced when Kevin Adams was brought on because the way he was framed to us, it was like, well, he's their next door neighbor and they like him.
He's done a good job.
He's done an incredible job.
But no, it was sold to us terribly.
Yeah, it was. And that was by the Buffalo media, by the way.
Yeah.
And so there's lots to be hopeful for here. What kind of move do you make? Because you got a plan for Tage Thompson coming back. And, Jeff Skinner's had a resurgence again. Every time somebody doubts Jeff Skinner, he comes back and has a crazy year. There's lots that they can add. Do you do it short term because Rasmus Dahlin's salary jumps from $6 to $11 million next year? And if Steve's projected flat cap is in that's going to be tough.
You really do got to kind of take advantage of that, eh?
I feel like this is the season for them to really weaponize that.
My problem with Kevin Adams is that so far this season for the Buffalo Sabres, it's the exact same problems as last season. It's not that they can't score. They're actually 7th in the league in goals for. It's the problems that they can't stop the puck. They're 3rd in the league in goals against, which was the exact same situation they were in last year, where they were, I think, 2nd in the league in goals for. Like nobody could score like the Buffalo Sabres, and they couldn't stop the puck, and that's what the ultimate problem is. The exact same shit this year, and their goaltending hasn't helped. Like they clearly, Levi he didn't get enough time in the oven. He needs to cook more, and that's why they sent him down. He didn't have a 900 save percentage. I think he was 870 something. Erik Karlsson has not been good. He's been an 870 something. And Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who's been above a 900, but it's only 907. And their problem comes down to, why didn't you spend some of this money on a goaltender so that you could let your two young guys, Ukko-Pekka and Levi, get some more time to in the minors? And Erik Karlsson is clearly not the answer.
Is Luukkonen a 907?
I believe so.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, because I was going to say, like, we have to. I still have to
907 in
do
13
it.
games.
Wow. You know what, man? I don't know what league average is anymore. I'm pretty sure that's above league average. Because they've been going down and down and down and down. I think it's like 902 now is league average. So,
but they haven't
moments of brilliance.
They haven't had steady goaltending and steady defense, for a season and a half now. And I'm just wondering, like, when's Kevin Adams going to fix this problem? And if he thinks like this can be solved by Rasmus Dahlin getting a little older and Owen Power, who's 21, becoming 23, like maybe he's just sitting out and just waiting for those things to happen. But I'd also like to see them spend some of their cap space on a goaltender, because they're currently spending nothing on their goalies. It's 1.8 to Erik Karlsson, under $900,000 for Ukko-Pekka and Levi. Like, why not just weaponize some cap space, get a good goalie, and support your great offense? Because 2 years in a row, you have a really good offense.
If you can find a cheap buyout there, I don't have a problem with that. If you can find a hockey move that makes sense, I don't have a problem with that. No more of the selling shit. No more of that.
I don't think they're doing that.
If you're evaluating guys, see if they sink or swim. At this stage in the rebuild, it's painful, but it's probably the right move, or a move that works. It's just disappointing if you're like a Buffalo Sabres fan. Dude, I think I had them finishing like 2nd.
Well, because they looked very, very dangerous
in the division.
I think you got to look, if you're the Sabres as the team or the season goes on, you got to look at teams. And I would say the only team in this category who should be squarely in this category, although this morning they're trying to bullshit us that they're not, is the Calgary Flames. Oh, no, we're going to hang on to Tanev. No, you're not.
Shut up.
And if you do, what are you doing? Teams that expected to be better than they are, and they're just not good. They're just not good. You're not good. So once they can find more teams like that, one of the teams I'm keeping an eye on, and I was really high on these guys at least getting back to where they were last year, is the Seattle Kraken. They have really underperformed. And I was like, well, they're all at like season averages. I don't see why they can't do it by committee again. It just doesn't seem to be working. I think goaltending again is a problem. Last year they got away with it. Is there a deal that can be done? And I wouldn't even know whether the Sabres would want forwards or defense. I think they need to score. Kraken would be a bad team to ask for that.
The Kraken path to being a really good team that, makes it deep in the playoffs consistently, I think is going to be painful, because they have a really smart, methodical front office. And I don't think they're going to rush into anything. I don't think they're running around like, with their hair on fire going, oh no, we're not as good as we thought. I think they look at last year as house money.
Yeah.
And this year is just another step on the way up.
The other team I put in that category, by the way, is the St. Louis Blues, who I always have two eyes squarely on, because
they're fine.
They're fine.
Yeah.
But is Doug Armstrong, what's he doing? Because I know that fine isn't good enough over there.
No. I mean, this is an improvement. They were out of the playoffs, and now they're in a spot. Hooray. That's pretty good.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, do you need to be in first place in December?
No.
I guess is what I'm getting at. Like, there are a lot of teams right now you can look at and go, I can't picture them losing when it comes to playoff time. There's a reason you can't picture them losing. You haven't seen them lose on account of it's December and it's the early season. There's no December Cup. No one gives a shit. So it's, all these teams that we're talking about right now could hit another gear, and then all of a sudden they're writing an incredible story. Like, what did the Blues really change in 2019?
Not
other
much.
than they got saves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed their goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're in the second wild card spot in the West. I'm just thinking, like, is that if they finish there, is that where they want to be?
I don't think that's a problem for them.
Okay. The other one I look at, if you're willing to wait a little bit longer to see how it goes, is the Minnesota Wild, who I know expect to be a playoff team, just fired their head coach
Now
with
they're
their willing
running
to sell.
And now they're good.
And now they're good again.
No,
They've won 3 in a row.
Since firing Dean Evason, they've been good. Like, resurgence. Marc-Andre Fleury looks great. They're getting some goals. Like, good for them. New coach bump.
What always goes up with the new coach bump? Friggin' save percentage. And you look at their tandem heading into the season, Philip Gustafsson, Marc-Andre Fleury. That should be a really solid tandem. And Gustafsson decided to have a shutout in his first game and then just was ass. Was really, really bad for like weeks that turned into months. And I think he's gotten it back on track. But your goalie goes on a slump, might get you fired. Ask Jay Woodcroft.
Oh,
Poor guy.
poor Jay Woodcroft. He's going to find a job. He'll be working.
Edmonton's got a wonky
goalie
schedule. Edmonton's got a wonky schedule too this week. Like, they skip Saturday and all that, and they don't play again till Wednesday, I think.
The Leafs are on their fourth break of 4 days or more.
Are they?
this season.
Isn't there is an NHLPA mandated 5-day break, but I don't think this is it.
I don't think this is
Maybe.
it either.
I don't know.
There's the Board of Governor meetings, I believe, today. I believe CJ is recording the CJ show from the Board of Governors.
From the Bog?
From Seattle.
Board of Governors? Bog.
I was like, what? That's not what they call Seattle.
But I don't think that has anything to do with the schedule.
No, I'm looking at the schedule. There's lots of games.
Yeah.
Just not the Leafs.
Or the Oilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Oilers haven't played since last Thursday.
The schedule's friggin' weird, man.
Yeah.
And
Also-
watch, the Leafs are going to have 19 back-to-backs in March.
Yeah. No, the back half of the Leafs schedule this season is just loaded.
Oh,
Because
great.
of the Sweden trip, and then now this little break, and the front of the season is usually a little light with December, anyways, in the Christmas break and all that.
It's actually a little fortunate because they have an absurd amount of injuries, but they're actually playing not that many games, so they're a little lucky in that regard. I guess.
And yeah, the Leafs, the injuries thing. Every year it seems like they lose half their defense core, and then they're fine without it. But then we're like, defense is the problem. But we did that for 20 minutes. So.
Remember Mac Hollowell playing with Victor Mete?
Great.
That was a time.
They managed.
Fantastic stuff.
and they won.
So on to our next story. Steve, do you mind? We're trying to record a show here, and you're chewing into a microphone.
What? Listen, it's exam season, and Excel Gum believes that ASMR is the key to stress-free studying. For the students listening, this is for you. We want you to relax. We want you to be calm. We want you to reduce your stress. Get comfortable.
Excel Gum and ASMR. Search Excel Gum on Spotify now and choose one of 4 ASMR audio experiences. Because everybody needs good study partners.
We want you to imagine sliding the Excel package out of its outer shell. The crinkle of the foil pack as you press your thumb against the plastic and pop a piece out, maybe 2. The anticipation as you grab it with your index finger and thumb, that's these 2, and you hold it right in front of your mouth. Jesse, I'm doing a thing. You hold it right in front of your mouth.
It's really good.
In anticipation of the thrill awaiting you. I want you to imagine the first time you bite down into a piece of Excel Gum. Are you imagining it? The way its minty flavor excites your taste buds. The feeling of your teeth crunching into the crunchy outside to find the soft inside within.
Steve, we are trying to have a session, like we're recording. And do you mind?
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing.
I'm chewing Excel gum.
It's a little weird.
What? Listen, it's exam season. And Excel gum believes that ASMR is the key to stress-free studying. To listen to Excel study beats, search Excel gum on Spotify for 4 ASMR experiences. You're welcome.
Hey, and this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. We've talked about our mental health often on this show. And you know what, frankly, over the last few years, there's been a lot of reasons to.
Why? What happened?
Exactly. We're wondering about that, about the last half decade, honestly. BetterHelp is a great place for you to take a second, have an outside party, look at you, look at your life. You can explain things, you can talk things out. And what's great is that they're interested but disinterested, as in they're a neutral party. They can help you with things.
Right. I'm just getting back on track. I thought you talked about throwing an actual party outside.
No.
And I was like, but it's cold.
No, exactly. No, I'm talking about somebody coming into your life and going, hey, how can we make things a little bit better for you so you can get through each day and get closer to the happiness that you want. BetterHelp is a great place to do it. And we're offering a really great spot, a really great deal. Visit BetterHelp.com/SDP today to get 10% off your first month. Find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/SDP. Speaking of defenseman, Nikita Zadorov went back to Calgary to make his debut as a Vancouver Canuck. And he was booed every time he touched the puck. And they asked him about it. And he said, well, I haven't got a contract offer. That's why I asked for a trade. And I'm like, wow, Steven Stamkos should take notes.
They're
think,
out of the playoffs, though, right? Tampa?
They might be. Let me pull it up. Right now?
They
are.
Yeah.
They are, yeah.
No, maybe did they move on from Steven Stamkos?
Wow. Did
way.
did Julian Brisebois predict this? Did he just know?
Maybe.
Well,
I mean, this is heading in the direction of he's not going to finish his career there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's heading in that direction. Like either they trade him this season or they simply don't re-sign him.
Short term? They give him a 2-year?
For what, though? For what amount of money?
I don't know. I assume Steven Stamkos and his agent are looking for his final contract. Like, that's what they want out of this. They want the final deal, and it's going to be in Tampa, and I'm going to retire at Lightning, but I don't know if it's available for them.
Not there.
So it's probably, it's not there for sure. It's probably something shorter, right?
Well, it would line up with Tampa's priority, which is signing everyone forever. So that would be great. Dude, how much of their roster is locked up till like 2030?
A lot of it.
It's crazy.
But
I was
like-
shocked when that Killorn deal expired. I was like, wow, I never thought that would
Whoa,
end.
I didn't know they could do that.
Right. But it's guys you want locked up forever. That's why
Yeah.
they're so good.
you see
It's Point, Kucherov, Sorelli, Nick Paul, Brandon Hagel, Sergachev,
Say it.
Chernak. That's everybody's Vasilevsky. All those guys are signed through 2028.
How many of those guys are 30 or up right now?
Kucherov he's 30, Point's 27,
Yeah,
Sorelli's 26, Paul's 28.
none of them except for Kucherov, who is leading the league in points.
There you go.
So
I was going to go through them all, but yeah, that's an easy way to do it.
right, like Stamkos is not math in there.
Yeah.
But he's got a no move, so he gets to control where he goes. I don't know, man. That's a really sneaky.
Stamkos to the Sabres? Oh. They could, listen,
Definitely not.
Tage Thompson, Steven Stamkos, Dylan Cousins is your top 3 going into the...
Oh.
And you know what? You don't even
Fucking
need
imagine.
You don't even need Stamkos to play center all of the time.
No.
Just on his good hand and then put him on the wing.
And those numbers I was referencing earlier about the Buffalo Sabres and them being in the league and goals for and all that, those are 5-on-5 numbers. When you look at them in all situations, they're a little lower down. So they could use some goal scoring help.
There's no way they trade Stamkos within the division. No way.
I don't know.
I'm just saying that's a situation.
Cool.
Julian Brisebois is ruthless, man. He'll make a decision if he thinks it can make his team better.
Yep.
If we were a Tampa Bay Lightning podcast, every single day we come in here on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we would be yelling about the Stamkos contract.
Oh my
how
God.
it's not done.
100%.
It's. I feel like it should be a bigger deal.
I mean, it should be.
We said it at the time when he had that quote. We were like, this
is crazy.
disaster, actually.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if, like, credit to Marner. Like he held out for that contract. He got it, and when he came back, he's like, "Yeah, here I am," or whatever. It wasn't really a distraction or whatever. Like no one's really been a dick about their contract talks publicly. Stamkos, not saying he's in the wrong. You can be a dick and not be in the wrong. But he came in day one of training camp, pissed off. That's your captain.
I haven't talked to GM all summer.
I haven't talked to him all summer. And look at them. Look at them. They're not playing well.
And now we suck.
They got called out by their coach. And I was just like, ooh, look out, Dallas. He called out the Tampa Bay Lightning ahead of a clear test game. Right? This is one of the best teams in the league playing against the Lightning, which is not something I've been able to say for many years. And they got fucking caved. 8-1.
No,
Vasilevsky got pulled after refusing to be pulled.
Yeah, he didn't want to go to the bench.
Hey,
whoa.
All right, now
it's volatile over there.
I believe it was the 15-16 season. The Lightning had come off a streak of some pretty good seasons, and they'd actually gone to the finals and I think lost.
That was 14-15.
14-15.
Lost in the finals.
And I remember I went to a Lightning game that year against Nashville, and Nashville just crushed them. And Nashville was on the rise at that point too. But they missed the playoffs just that one year.
That was 16-17. They should have made the playoffs, but the Leafs made it.
Right.
Because they were injured.
Okay, fair enough.
Right.
And then they got probably a good draft pick out of it and drafted some brilliant person.
Oh.
Probably that's the Sergachev draft year, isn't it?
That's a good question.
It has to be the
Jesse's
Sergachev
looking
draft year. So, or not, no, the Drouin draft year that got them Sergachev.
That was 2013.
Okay, then that
I don't know. Jesse's looking it up, man.
Long story short,
What do you want to know? The 15 draft or the
17?
The 17 draft?
when did they miss the playoffs and have a high draft pick?
17.
That's all I want to know.
2017 NHL entry draft. The
Victor Hedman. No.
No.
Tampa Bay Lightning drafted 14th and they got Calfoot.
Oh.
Who
Yeah,
they turned
I
it to
don't
Tanner Janot.
I don't know what you
I don't think that was the one.
That was underwhelming.
I'm referring to 2015. Steve made it about 2017. So
That was the year they missed the playoffs. It was 2017. God damn it.
long story short, I just wonder if the Lightning look at this year and go, okay, we've played a lot of hockey. We maybe need a bit of a retool. And I don't think this is in their DNA, but I do think every once in a while, a great franchise has to do it, which is where it's like, okay, it's not coming together this year. Who knows why? Not that they're going to punt on it. Sell a little at the deadline. Maybe try to get some assets back for Tanner Janot.
I'm not saying
What are you
sell.
talking about?
I'm not
Sell a
saying
little.
sell.
Sell a little.
What are you talking
Sell
about?
Stamkos. You're not going to sign him.
Who are the Lightning
Sell
selling?
Stamkos. Go
If
get
it's
your-
not Stamkos.
Go get
You know
your
what?
picks. Get your picks, baby.
The last time we talked about the Lightning not trusting this group and selling, the world shut down. And then they won back-to-back.
Well, this is my challenge to them. I'm better at it than John Cooper is. So
oh, yeah?
yeah. So no, I'm just saying, could this, if this pace maintains, and we're at game 60, I don't know when did the trade deadline happen around?
March 8th.
Oh no, but like game what?
Oh, yeah, around game 60.
So we're game 55.
Sure.
And they're 5 or 6 points out. What do you do if you're the GM? Do you do like a small, like, hey, like that's a tough question, right? Because like they have played a lot of hockey. Maybe they're a little tired. We'll come roaring back next year. Vasilevsky missed 10 weeks with that freaking hip.
You're
thing.
not selling on anything except maybe Steven Stamkos, who you can't do because he has no movement clause.
Oh, but you
I mean, you could.
he'd go,
You could.
and you can waive it. And you say, Steven, we're not resigning.
It happens
You want to go
all
play in
the
the playoffs or not?
So the contract isn't signed.
Yeah.
There's been some negotiations, but let's say
No, they've already said they came out and said they're not. gonna do it.
I'm. This is a hypothetical.
Okay, all right.
On trade deadline day, you're Julian Breezewell, you two.
Yep.
Steven Stamkos' contract, you've been talking to him, but it doesn't seem like it's going to get done, and you're not too hopeful. Are you trading him? Are you going to him and saying, hey, do you want to move that no-move clause?
You know what? We're overthinking this. Who gets everyone?
The Golden Knights.
Steven Stamkos to the Golden Knights. They get everyone.
That's true. Imagine Jack Eichel and Steven Stamkos and Mark Stone.
Holy shit. Just one-timer and one-timer and one-time. Imagine they're just alternating who's at the point and who's fucking the puck up.
We call it the career-threatening injury trio.
Oh, my God. Like,
All of them would come back.
they could score 3 goals at once because the puck would shatter.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't think Stamkos waves, if I'm being honest.
Really? Even if you say to him, Steven, we're not re-signing you.
He wants a deal. I think he waves if he knows there's a deal tied to it.
A deal tied
He
to
wants
the
to be in
team he's
Florida.
going to?
Yes.
Oh. But why? He could just sign that in July and try and go to the playoffs with his Tampa Bay Lightning.
He could. But I think he knows he's only got a certain amount of cracks at this. He doesn't want to be a part. I assume he doesn't want to be a part of a season where they're punting. Now, it's real early to be saying they're punting. I am not betting against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
But,
ever.
can you not have the conversation?
It's a hypothetical.
no.
For God's sakes, we're already pre-arguing with the internet here.
No, you're
Obviously,
right.
I'm not saying the Lightning at game 25 aren't going to make the playoffs. I'm saying, what if? What if?
I'm not afraid of being called stupid because
I mean, that's every day.
it's
man.
every day, no matter what I say.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But listen, older player, injury history of winning, no contract, wants to win. Team that's not doing so great. It's a recipe for a juicy story.
It is. Now, here's another one. Let's say Steven Stamkos, gentlemen, doesn't waive, right? He's like, no, I like Florida. I like my tax. I don't want to be away from my family. Completely understand all that stuff.
Stamkos
And also the weather.
to the Panthers. No, sorry.
I was just thinking.
Wait, actually?
Because
I said it because I was like, there's no way he's going to say Florida.
right now, if you look at next year, the Florida Panthers go from $44 million to $34 million.
Oh, you're talking about he signs
Signs this
as a
summer.
UFA.
Yeah, because I said if he doesn't, they're gonna have to rebuild their defense
He gets
because
to
they've only
not
got
move his house.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Because
He can-
wherever
he
he's
can-
living right now, he can just live there.
It's like a 3-hour drive or like a what is it?
I'm sure he's
40-minute flight, something like
Florida's
that.
deceptively big.
It is.
That's true. But the Tampa's arena is not too far from Florida's.
It's pretty far.
How far is it?
From Miami.
I mean, that's like, the Leafs are pretty close to Buffalo. Like,
Yeah.
you can make the drive, but it's
No, it's a 4-hour drive.
Oh my
but I
god,
think-
so that's like the Leafs.
Okay,
and Detroit.
I'm off on
And
my
it's
Florida
on
geography.
opposite sides of the
Yeah,
the
but I
thing,
didn't know
too.
it's 4 hours to cross. Wow.
And I just
That's-
the
I'm
flights.
wrong.
I'm looking at the flights. How like the flights are $90, so it's not like it'll cost them much.
Right.
And I
Oh my
think
god, the States are a different place, eh?
well, it's like Europe, right? The only place that flights are outrageous is Canada because we hate ourselves. Average flight time's an hour. No, don't even get me started on Canadian Navy. It drives me crazy. It's a stupid thing to get mad about, but it makes me mad.
It sounds like you'll have to move.
Yeah,
wrong.
he would have to move, but I think if you're like if you're going for chaos theory, the Stamkos in a Florida Panthers jersey next year would be hilarious.
I don't remember the which flight was which, but when I went to the World Juniors in January 2009, I believe it was, one of the tickets to Saskatchewan was $1,800 return, and the other one was over $2,000.
Yeah, and people
That's
wonder,
how much it costs.
people
to
wonder
fly.
why Canadians don't know anything about Canada. We can't afford to.
Yeah, dude.
Ridiculous.
No, you could also just simply drive 3 days.
The Edmonton Oilers have won 4 straight games. They still sit 6 points out of a playoff spot.
Man.
It's been a really interesting, quick, sharp turnaround for them. They are playing completely different hockey. Did they do it early enough where if this sustains, they can do it? Because the way that they have to play is you can't have a losing streak.
Now,
You can have a couple bad games, but you can't have a streak.
you can't. Jesse, forget how many points behind the Oilers are. How many teams are between the Oilers and a playoff spot?
Between the Oilers and a playoff spot, so they currently sit way down there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was 6 last time we checked. So good for them. Like, it's not just the points back. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to be better for the rest of the season than the Wild, who have improved, the Ducks, who are ass, the Kraken, who are
We don't know.
mid and possibly on their way to ass, or also extremely good.
Look at that goal differential of the Kraken.
Oh, my God.
They're
minus
20 on the goal differential.
Make a save, man. You got the Flames, who can't decide what they are.
Preds.
I could see the Flames selling and becoming better, like
Yeah.
being one of those weird teams. And the Preds. Well, and then you got to knock off one of the teams that's in a playoff
Yeah,
spot, and the
that's
Blues.
thing. And
Blues are the Coyotes, who have a +8, by the way,
the Coyotes
and have won
are
4 straight.
playing such good hockey, and like a large part of it is Connor Ingram.
Oh, yeah. So you're the Oilers. You've won 4 straight, and you've gained 0 points on the Coyotes in that time because they've also won 4 straight.
It's hard to gain ground in the National Hockey League because of the 3 points that are handed out. You know, you go on any given night, and the teams you're chasing could have 1 point, and then the other ones gets 2, and you're chasing this thing, and it's like you're running on a treadmill. You know, you're going nowhere.
And the Oilers have games in hand on those teams, but if you go by points percentage, they leapfrog one team.
Mm-hmm.
They leapfrog the Ducks,
And that's it.
who are 2-8-0 in their last 10. Oof, Maroon.
There's a reason teams who are out of a playoff spot come, or what is it, 5 points out of a playoff spot come December 1st, don't usually make the playoffs.
It is difficult.
It's hard to make up ground. And
It is.
If there's one team you put faith in to do it, it's the Oilers, though.
And those
the Sharks, too.
Those top
The Sharks,
3
yeah,
spots,
why not?
Sharks are on fire.
those top 3 spots in the Pacific, dude, 36 points, 33, 31. The Oilers have 19. Again, I refuse to write them off because of who they are and who they have. That's a really, really, really steep hill they got to climb, man.
Do you see the cup thing that the Arizona Coyotes were tweeting about? Their little streak of winning right now.
Oh, yeah. So they've won 4 straight.
It's so much fun. Hold on, I'll pull up the schedule.
It's 4 straight games, but during that 4-game win streak, the teams that they beat were each of the last 4 Stanley Cup champions.
And they can accomplish the feat if they defeat Washington tonight.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
that would be 5 then.
That's fun.
Or no,
Yeah.
that'd be 4.
So they've beaten the Golden Knights, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Colorado Avalanche, and the St. Louis Blues. And then tonight they have Washington.
So they could win. They could beat the last 5 Stanley Cup champions. Like
5 in a row.
the odds of that falling into your lap on your schedule are millions to 1.
Yeah.
And actually winning all of those games. I mean, the odds of this happening for the Coyotes
So then
so microscopic.
who's the 6th?
Pittsburgh.
They have Pittsburgh next Tuesday. It's close, but yeah. If the schedule makers just thought of this streak, they could have planned it a little
Very
better.
cool.
And by
But-
the way, since their season opening win streak, you mentioned the Sharks. The Sharks are actually on pace with the Flames, who are just out of a playoff spot. They haven't been bad. They're 500
No, they've been decent.
since the streak.
And they won a couple of big games over the weekend.
Yes,
Yeah. The Sharks
they're
have been
no
decent.
longer miserable. I know they're still not very good, but like those streaks just become this snowball, and then you win one, you come out of your trance, you remember you play in the NHL, and all of a sudden you're an NHL team, albeit, still, even at your best, you're mid, but like you're watchable for God's sake.
Sidney Crosby has 24 points in 21 games.
Mutant.
This is from Elliot Friedman. Now that's been updated, obviously, but I'm going to read it directly from Elliot. The NHL record for most points by a player aged 36 or over is 103 by a 40-year-old Gordie Howe in 68-69.
Of course.
The next is Joe Sakic at 100 points, age 37 in 06-07, and Gretzky had 97 at 36 in 96-97. Do you think Sidney Crosby can beat Gordie Howe?
Wow. What? How many points does he have?
He had, okay, well, I'll look it up right now.
How many did Gordie have?
Gordie had 103.
Because Crosby's pace right now, while good, I believe is still under 100.
25 points in 23 games.
Yeah,
He
that's-
had 24 and 21 when Elliott made that update. So his pace has gone down.
25. Here, I'm going to show all you kids how to do this.
It's like 85.
25 points to... Fuck you. What the fuck, Jesse? What the fuck?
It's like 85.
It's 89, actually. Eat shit.
89, sorry.
Oh, man.
I just figured 82 and you add a couple.
Can you name the last season where
pretty
Sidney Crosby scored over 100 points or over?
Last year?
No.
No?
He had 93 last year.
Oh, damn. The last... Really? Mm-hmm. The last time they won the cup. 16-17.
No. 18-19. He had 100 points in 79 games.
That was the last time?
He had 100 points. Yeah.
Oh, he keeps getting hurt.
Now and also COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he wasn't on that pace. The other thing that's interesting about Sidney Crosby this year is his face-off percentage, which is 60% so far.
That's pretty good.
You talk about the 100 points thing. Since 2010, Sidney Crosby has only had 100 points twice. That's 14 seasons or 13 seasons.
Don't you wish you could beat up someone's injuries?
Yes.
Like, if Sidney Crosby's injuries could turn into a person, I would fist fight them. I would Mick Foley, trash can lid, street fight them.
Just it's Sacco.
He's going to
sock in the mouth.
Just sock. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be fucking what's his name?
Santino Morella.
Santino Morella. I'm gonna have the Cobra.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna just get in there. No, like Sidney Crosby. I keep saying this. It's wild given how his career began. I think he's underrated, and I think he's been underrated for at least half a decade. By the time his career ends, people are going to say things like Sidney Crosby's a top 10 player all time. And people are going to go, what are you talking about? And then you're going to look at the numbers and you're going to go, holy shit.
Who's going to disagree with that?
There's I'll
fight that person.
Well, okay. The top 4 spots are pretty much unanimously taken up by Gretzky or Howe and Lemieux.
Engvall. Oh, sorry.
Right. So now you only have 6 spots left to make it into the top 10.
Yeah, he gets one.
He's got to get one.
Yeah. No, I'm fighting somebody if they don't have Crosby in the top 10.
Sakic is in that convo. Yzerman is in that convo.
Mm-hmm. Lidstrom
is in that convo. And then, okay, you have to exclude goalies because then
it's a different list.
The waters get too muddied. He's in elite company. Forget his regular season totals. His playoff totals are insane, which is why it's been driving me crazy how bad Pittsburgh's been in the playoffs these last few years. Yes, this is what it's like watching the Leafs.
Mm-hmm. Last time Pittsburgh's been out of the second round was 2018.
When they lost to Washington. And then ever since, first round. And like not even like particularly good losses either in the first round.
No, a couple sweeps in there, and then a couple 6-gamers. Yeah, but Crosby's shown up 100 or 201 playoff points in 180 games.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Wait, how did we?
I asked if you think he was going to beat Gordie Howe this year. Now
I'm going to say no.
You're going to say no. Do you think he could beat Sakic at 100 or Gretzky at 97?
It's got to be a priority for him to do it.
You think so?
And like, well, no. Like, in order for him to do it, it's got to be a priority. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think it is. Mm-hmm. I think he's solely focused on get a cup. And I just love the retellings. Like CJ's really good at this, actually. If you ask him about those Penguins teams who won the back-to-back cups, the great thing about them winning in 2016 is they won in 2009, and then that team started to believe, this may never happen again. Right? Like they had a few like close calls and Final Four appearances and stuff like that. And they win. They make it back to the dance. No one from ESPN picked them to beat the Sharks. Remember that? And then they win. And then they win again the next year. And now it looks like, for however finished they looked after 2009, this team looks cooked. If you just look at recent memory, if Crosby gets one more good run in there, like this guy's going to retire having played over 200 playoff games. Like,
Warrior.
Do you know what a tiny percent of players ever have done that?
He has to play 20 more.
That's a lot.
Well, like
even if they go 2 rounds, 2 game 7s,
it's only 14.
That's only 14.
But that's 1 year. He basically needs to make the second round once more in order to like guarantee himself a spot.
It's gonna be tough. I have them out on the outside of the playoffs this year.
Yeah, you do. Sid doesn't. Gosh darn it. And that's what he would say because he doesn't swear at him.
Looking at how much time he's got left in the nature and the state of the current Pittsburgh Penguins.
Pennsylvania.
Good one. That 200, like, don't pencil in 200 playoff games. Like, I feel like that's a little disappointing to say. Like, I feel like a downer saying that because it's Sidney Crosby, and as you illustrated, he is a top 10 player of all time. The run for the cup might be on his last leg, you know.
So they've lost in the first round in 4 consecutive seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Add those games up, Jesse.
6 is 12.
Yep.
Plus another 8. That's
20.
20. Yeah. So
It's right there. It's right there.
You're asking them to do that you're asking Sidney Crosby to do that for 4 more years just to lose in
man.
the first round?
They make the second round one time.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
And you're also not taking into account when they miss the playoffs this year, he's going to go to Colorado. So
Next season.
Drew is so thirsty for that.
Colorado fucking shit the bed versus the Kings. The Kings showed up and are ready to play all season long. Best team in the National Hockey League right now. And the Colorado Avalanche couldn't get up to a game on Sunday on a back-to-back.
Love the Kings.
Great team.
love that team.
Fantastic.
Love the way they built it.
Did the Canucks get wiped off the face of the earth? What are you guys talking about?
Second best team.
Maybe the Kings should be first in their division.
Best teams in the National Hockey League ranking: Kings 1, 2 the Canucks, 3 Leafs.
Oh, shut up! Shut up! Boo!
Official power ranking.
Yeah, there it is. There it is,
There you
Jesse.
go.
Do a whole podcast on it.
Oh, I will.
Why the Leafs are better than your team.
I will.
Yeah. Why don't we do the press conference?
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
I am trying to find, very unsuccessfully, the record for games played in the playoffs all time. This should be easier.
Do you want to?
My bet is Messier or something. That's my bet.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Do you want me to do this while you do that?
Yeah, let's
Yes,
do that.
please.
Okay, so I'm currently on sdpnshop.ca. It's on my laptop in front of me. I'm going to hit the little search bar, and I'm going to type in this team is
have it,
ruining
Steve.
my life. Oh, there it is. Steve Dangle's book.
Oh, Adam's got it.
Steve Dangle's book is now available on sdpnshop.ca. Mm-hmm. So you're going to go there, and you're going to order a copy of your book, and Steve Dangle will sign your
Yes.
copy of the book.
That's great.
Yes.
So if you want to get a copy of Steve Dangle's book that is signed, and I'll include there a way that if you want to get anything like personalized, like if it's not the person who's ordering it, like if it's just not your name you want written in there, or just not his signature, and Steve will sign it and personalize it, and then he'll ship it out to you.
So to save time, I've already signed them all.
Oh, perfect.
It took 5 hours. No, I'm kidding.
And we don't. It's a limited amount of copies, right?
Yes. So if you want, okay, we cannot guarantee these for Christmas, but if you want your best shot at it, we have 70 here in the building. So be one of the first 70, and you've actually got a shot at getting it before the holidays.
Yeah, because we'll try and send it out as quickly as possible. So it
Yes,
gets there for Christmas.
as soon as we'll be real quick. But you've included a way for them to customize it.
Yeah, I'll have that ready to go for when you want to order it.
Oh,
and
you're
you can.
Steve, draw a butt. Thank you.
I will do that.
Will you draw a butt?
I will do that.
Okay. Ask for a butt draw. I want to see what that looks
What?
like. Butt draws.
I will draw a button.
Why did
Draw
you
a
go
butt
there?
Because wait, I want you to know that no request is too far. Some are too far. Some are too far. Jesse, I have the NHL record for playoffs games played. Do you guys want it? Do you guys care?
Yes.
Sure.
By the way, Mark Messier is third.
Third.
That was my guess.
How many
So-
guys have played over 200?
It is 21.
Wow, that's more than I thought.
That's all time though.
Most all time. I'm gonna say not Gordie Howe because it wasn't a 4-round playoff. It's gonna be someone. Watch, it's gonna be like someone who didn't win the cup. It's gonna be like Joe Thornton. Most playoff games ever, or do we go Hab? Is this person retired?
They're all retired in the top 10.
Damn it. You know what? Gretzky.
Okay. Jesse. One guess, and then I'll give you the top 10.
Number one playoff games all time.
Yeah.
Let's say Marchand Brodeur.
Marchand Brodeur. Good guess. Brodeur is, as far as I can see, is this just players? This might just be players.
It's just players.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go with it. Go with a skater. It's because the NHL.com is stupid. So let's just go with skaters. Go with skaters. They should absolutely include goalies in this. You're right.
I feel like
you're absolutely right.
That was a decent guess.
Yeah, it was a decent guess, and I'm upset. So please go with skaters.
I'll guess somebody else.
Yeah.
Joe Sakic.
Okay.
Oh, great
Good guess. Good guess.
Great.
By the way, Marty Brodeur played how many games in the playoffs? Who cares? I can't find it. Cares.
Go to DB. Go to Hockey DB. It'll be right there.
Yeah, I'm mad. I'm really upset.
How did we make you upset?
I asked for players.
Yeah.
Players are goalies too.
No.
Skaters.
I didn't ask for skaters. I asked for players.
Goalies do not skate.
Okay, so non-goalies. Wayne Gretzky is at 15th
Wow.
with 208 played. Jesse, who's your player?
I said Sakic.
Sakic. He's further down.
That was a long.
He's further down. Ken Danico is, by the way, is in the top 50. I just want to throw that out.
Can you just?
Yes, I am, Adam. I sure am. I played a lot of playoff games when I won those cups for New Jersey, which reminds me, play the New Jersey State Lottery. Anything can happen in Jersey.
The top 3 is as follows. Mark Messier with 236.
Wow.
Nicholas Lindstrom with 263.
That makes a lot of sense.
And yes, a Montreal Canadian and a Detroit Red Wing. Who am I speaking about?
Chris Chelios?
Number 1 with 266 games played, most ever.
Because he played for 40 years.
What was interesting is Claude Lemieux number 4, Scott Stevens number 5, Guy Carbonneau number 6, Larry Robinson number 7, Glenn Anderson number 8, Chris Draper number 9, and Brian Trottier. He had 6 cups, I think, between the Islanders and the Penguins.
I thought about saying Larry Robinson, but I didn't think he played recently enough.
Well, I just did the Montreal Canadiens of the 70s, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Every year, guaranteed, basically.
Jesse, have you a question?
I do. Let me just see if I can do this here. So last season, around the Christmas season, we did this thing where we drafted our hockey teams. Mm-hmm. We had a snake draft and we had a fantasy expansion draft and we drafted our full teams. And this year we will be doing that again around the Christmas season as we take some time off and we have some pre-planned recordings. That will be one of them. There will be our second annual expansion draft, fantasy draft. And we'll also bring back the hottest take, which was one of the most fun things we did.
Or the warmest chocolate take. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Let's not do that.
Stop.
You know what I mean?
But in anticipation of that, Oh My Josh on our Discord did a thing. Oh My Josh says, longtime listener, first time press conference questioner.
Okay.
Nearly a year ago for one of your special pods, you did your fantasy snake draft. Because I like spreadsheets, I went and made a cap-friendly style cap sheets for each of the 3 teams.
Oh my God.
With the most appropriate photo of each general manager that I could find. My question, nearly a year after these teams were chosen, how do our 3 general managers feel now about the choices they made back then? And how do they feel that these teams match up with each other?
If I could name a single player I drafted.
I have no idea.
So we have them.
I have no idea.
Maddie, if you want to pull it up, this is Steve's team.
This is Steve's team. Jason Robertson on left wing with Austin Matthews and Mikko Rantanen. Karel Kaprizov with Elias Pettersson and Mitch Marner. Brady Tkachuk with Jack Eichel and Jesper Bratt. Johnny Gaudreau, woof, with Mika Zibanejad and Timo Meier. On defense, Victor Hedman, Erik Karlsson, Miro Heiskanen with Dougie Hamilton, Jacob Slavin.
Who?
Oh, Dougie Hamilton. Sorry, Adam.
Thank you.
My bad. He plays for New Jersey. Play the New Jersey State Lottery. Anything can happen in Jersey. Jacob Slavin with Philip Hronik. And Andre Vasilevsky with Connor Hellebuck in net. How are you beating that?
That's a good team, man.
Well, they're all good teams.
No, they're not.
Next up is Team Jesse.
Oh,
I had.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think I was pretty good.
Wow.
I had Draisaitl, Crosby, Stamkos, Panarin, McKinnon, Pasta, Marchand, Point, Marchessault, Caulfield, Suzuki, Tarasenko.
Wow.
On D, Makar, McAvoy, Ekblad, Petro, Shabbat, Seider, and then in goal, Sorokin, Ottinger.
look at all the Canadian flags on there. Jesse's being all patriotic here.
Yeah.
Best team. Just pick all the Canadians. Don Cherry taught me that.
That,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Running back to Sweden.
I think Jesse's team might kick my team's ass.
That's Steve's. That's mine.
Wow.
And then Adam Wild, your team.
Garbage.
Okay, so
let's see.
Alexander Ovechkin, Connor McDavid, and Kucherov on my top line.
Jesus.
Forsberg, Jack Hughes, injured, sad, and Matthew Tkachuk on my
Oh, that's
second
a
line.
nasty second.
That is a friggin' ridiculous.
Kreider,
Wow.
Thompson, Tage Thompson, and William Nylander on my third line.
Also extremely good.
If Thompson wasn't injured.
Oh, this fourth line's a world of hurt, bud.
Yeah, Huberdeau, Bergeron, and Patrick Kane.
Adam, what were you doing?
Why did I pick Patrick Kane? Oh,
no.
man.
You got-
Bergeron was good, though.
You got guy who's struggling, guy who's retired, guy with no hips.
no hips. We didn't know at the time that he had no hips. We knew he was hurt. And then my defense is Quinn, terrible in front of his own net, Hughes. Adam
pick Quinn Hughes. I love it.
I love Quinn Hughes. I criticized one part of his game, and people were like, "You don't know what the fuck you're talking
He's
about."
good defensively now.
Roman Yossi, Mikhail Sergachev, Josh Morrissey, and Rasmus Dahlin, and then Shesterkin and Lena Solmark are my goalies. I think
You have a pretty good team except for that fourth.
yeah. I
You're
gotta
despicable
fix
up
the
the
top.
middle.
Yeah,
You're McDavid, Hughes, Tage. That's fucked.
yeah.
Your right wing is actually fucked as well. Kucherov, Kachuk, Nylander.
Yeah, because Nylander's gone up a level since you drafted him.
Yeah, but is he? You put him above Kucherov or Kachuk?
Probably not, no.
You're struggling a bit on the left. But like Forsberg's really good.
Yeah.
Kreider's pretty good.
Carter's good.
Yeah, but like we picked 12 left wingers in the whole world. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't think
Steve's struggling with the Gaudreau. Actually, Gaudreau's in a bad. Myers isn't too bad. I don't hate that, actually.
Yeah, it's not great.
You got Brad up on your third line, right?
Brad. Oh, and Timo Meyer. I can't
you
believe we forgot Timo Meyer. Because last year he was acquired by the New Jersey Devils.
I'm surprised.
Jesse, I'm not done.
I'm surprised on a draft with like all the best players in the league. Philip Roenick made the cut. He's your third
man,
pairing
but
right.
he's good though.
He is, but I just wouldn't expect that.
I made that a year ago.
Yeah,
And that was before
That
he
makes
was, like-
sense now.
it does.
That was weird a year ago.
last Christmas. You selected Philip Roenick.
Had he even been traded yet?
No.
No.
He was Detroit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he was still in the Red Wings. And when he scored that fucking like 200-foot top corner empty netter, remember that?
But like, I'm taking my D over everybody's.
I mean, wouldn't we all?
Yeah, I think you're.
You know? You know what I mean? You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
think.
I don't-
I think he's
You know
right.
what I mean?
I think he's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a tall and strong D.
Makar, McAvoy, Ekblad, Petro, Shabbat, Seider. I think I trump you guys all in D.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Stiff. I would say the competition is stiff.
Adam, that's
Yeah.
disgusting.
I'm sorry.
Stop. Get your mind out of the gutter, gentlemen.
That wasn't what I meant. I meant he had the best D.
As as Tortorella says, they have balls.
Balls! He did. I mean, Tortorella, man, squeezes blood from a stone.
Thank you for that. I just want to. Oh my, Josh. Appreciate all the hard work you did on your spreadsheet.
You're the best.
So yeah, we're gonna have some fun Christmas content coming up.
I would
including
love a
another
points
fantasy
breakdown
draft.
about how those guys have all done. Like, can we have like a?
I wouldn't.
I don't think you guys made a bad pick. Man, that Huberdeau pick is rough. But man, you got to remember where Bergeron was at last year at this time, right?
Because it's just the best players in the world. Like,
Yeah.
you need to have a good fourth line, and you and I have booty fourth line.
Terrible fourth
Like
Caulfield killing it.
I have Caulfield, Suzuki, Tarasenko on my fourth line. I don't think that's that strong.
You know what? You're right.
I feel like we're all kind of iffy on the fourth line.
yeah, weak.
I
We've
think
got
I have
pretty
the
even
best
teams.
fourth line player. picked in Zibanejad.
Yes, 100%.
I would give you that. For sure.
Yeah, 100%.
If Bergeron was still playing, would you still say that?
No, but he's not. So
Yeah.
Rats. All right.
Anyways, that's fun.
Hi, that was fun, man. We're doing that again this year?
Yeah.
All right,
We're gonna.
I'm just do some research.
Yeah, we gotta do some prep and try and beat our teams. All right.
I like that. Listen, we will be back on Tuesday. There is a CJ show from the bog.
On Tuesday.
On Wednesday, sorry. But the CJ show today is from the Board of Governors meeting, and CJ will have more trade talk, I'm sure. And other things, like the Caps.
Tuesday.
Chris Johnston show. You know what I mean?
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.